Hey, welcome back guys. So we have a few issues here with our posts. So one of them being this error that we got. So it says undefined array key 0. So I hope you are also having this error, or you may not have this error. So let me see where the error is coming from. So the file here says this is in controllers, this is single controller on line 24. So this is line 24 right here, and it's also highlighted. So let's just go there and see what we are talking about. So single controller line 24, which is this one. So why is there an error here, and what does the error say? Undefined array key 0. So this means that this 0 does not exist, which means this is definitely not an array. Or it may be an array, but it's an empty one. So let's see here. Where is category coming from? It's coming from here. The question is, why is this a 0? So let's try and print readable, or use var dump, because it tells you the data type as well. And let's do that. So let's see what's inside that. Okay, so it's an array, but it's empty. Okay, so at least we understand. But why is it empty then? What is this row 0? What does it have? Let's check that out. And let's come back here, refresh. Okay, so it does contain something, but category ID is empty. Why is that? That's weird. Okay. Yeah, that is so weird. So it means we were not saving our categories there. But for now, to solve the problem, is we're going to make sure that we only do this if the result of this, let's say if count category is greater than 0, or you can try the if not empty, maybe that will work. If not empty, like this. Let's try that, because it's much cleaner than we do this. Data category is equal to that. Then we will still not have a category here. That will cause more problems down the line anyway. So refresh anyway. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so undefined variable category, where exactly? Yeah, so as I thought, it caused problems in the view. So let's just go to the view, resources, views, not the admin, but the single controller, single.blade. So it's causing problems here because it's saying a category is unknown. But what we can do is, where we're using the category, we can put another PHP statement and say if not empty, again, like so, category, like that. Yes, if not empty, let's do that. And this is the beauty with Laravel, because you can add, you can combine templating and PHP code in here, and it works just fine. Okay, so at that point we can omit the category if it's not available. So otherwise, this is it. Now we have a problem here because our images, as you can see, are not showing. They're just empty images here. Imagine designing this whole thing and then finding out your images do not work. So how do we fix that problem? Now we're going to fix the category issue a bit later, because I've just seen it now. And let's finish up with the images. Now, what is the real issue here? If I inspect these images, you notice that the path is correct, but the problem is it doesn't have the, let's compare this image right here that is showing. If I inspect the element on this one, you see that it doesn't start with uploads. right? It is in the uploads folder, but uploads is all the way here. But then there's http localhost magazine public/uploads. So you see the issue here is that the images, let's see where we're displaying this image actually. And this is right here. We put this inside this URL function. Now what this does is it adds the root path here before adding the uploads and then all that. So what we really need is this root to be part of every source inside our content. Where is our content really here? Where are we echoing our content? I'm getting completely blind here because I can't seem to find a, oh, there we go, content. Very nice. Okay, so in this content here, every part where there is source should have the base directory. So this is really a function here that says URL. So let's see what we can do with this function here. If I try to echo this function, what happens? Let's test that, shall we? Since we can't really break anything, so no harm in trying. Let's refresh. Okay, so we get an error here. Object of class URL generator could not be converted to a string. Okay, so this means it's returning itself. It's returning an object when we do this. But here it's not returning an object when we add a path inside. So let's try and add an empty path and just try to trick it into returning our URL. So empty, and let's see what happens. Okay, so we are in business. And there we go. So we get the root path here, which is awesome, but it doesn't have a slash at the end, which is not a big problem. So all we need to do is, instead of echoing it out, let's put PHP tags and say we're just going to call it root or something and say is equal to, and then we will equate it to that. Now let's cut this and just put it right at the top here so we can use it throughout the code here. So we have root, very nice. But the problem is the content is in here. So how do we do a replacement? So we just need to do a string replace right quick. You could use a, you could create a function to do this to make things a bit cleaner, but string replace should do the trick. So I'm just going to say string replace, like so. So what are we searching for here? Now I'm going to use single quotes because we are searching for an HTML tag, an HTML attribute, which I know very well uses double quotes like this. So that's why we use single quotes on the outside. We are looking for source, any part that says src is equal to, and then there's a quote, a double quote there like this. So what do I replace this with? Well, I want to replace it with exactly the same thing, like so. Oops, this is why I should have used single quotes. There we go. So I want to replace it with the same exact thing, except I want to concatenate something before I put it back, and that something is the URL. So I'll put a dot there and say root, like so. So I'm adding root to that, but remember I need to add a slash there because it doesn't have a slash at the end, otherwise those two words would join together. We may end up having public and then uploads, which is coming in, joined together, so we want to avoid that by putting a slash in between. And then what's the subject? The subject is the content. So let's put that content right there, like so. So all we are doing here is telling it that inside this content, wherever you find this text, replace it with the same text, but add a root path to the beginning of it. So let's try this out. And there we go. So we have our images now as part of the content. So now people can go ahead and design away. Now, of course, this is just for adding images. If you want to add, let's say, video, so you have to follow the same process. You have to find out what exactly makes a video tag, and then do the same thing here. So usually I think you probably just need to change this to video like this. Okay, and then you can post videos and do the same thing, but I don't really recommend posting videos in here. So maybe you can find a way to disable the video posting there. I think the creators of what's this app right here, this thing here, if you read the documentation, you find how to disable the video, because video is quite large. So I wouldn't recommend doing these operations with video. It would be better to add a file input there so that people can send video that way rather than putting the video in here. Alrighty then, so at least now we can view our content in peace. So the same thing is happening here on the post section. We could do a string replace, but instead I'm just going to get rid of this section here because featured image should be enough. The content is unpredictable, what content the user will put here, so it may not look good when checking your posts. So let's just go to the admin controller with the admin view. So we'll go to posts.blade.php, and right where we have the content, let's remove that header, and let's do the same thing here where we echo the content itself. Don't forget to remove the table data tags as well. Refresh, and there we go. So much better here. Yeah, things are looking up. So in the next video, I will come back with a better version of this cropping tool, but otherwise we are pretty much done with what we needed to learn here. Yeah. So hopefully you have learned something new, and I shall see you in the next video.